it's Sue, and today I did a small redesign for my Rise of the TMNT OCs and then drew them character sheets. So let's get right into it. So technically I did all of the redesigning off camera in my sketchbook, but I had a pretty good idea of what I wanted, so there wasn't really anything that interesting to watch. Here you're seeing me sketch out the new character sheet for Sammy, which is laid out exactly the same as the original, but somehow I was having trouble fitting her on the canvas, so you'll see that I keep moving her up and trying to fit her in. For Sammy, I didn't change too much. I just kind of exaggerated what she already had. Like, I made the lace on her arms and legs baggier, and I made the fabric thing on her shoulder bigger. I also went and added another ribbon and lengthened the ribbons to her flower things. And yeah, that was pretty much all I changed. I was actually pretty nervous about redesigning the girls because they are some of the main stars of my comic, and you usually can't change the designs of a character during the story without some reason or breaking it to hide or explain it. But I felt like they, or at least their outfits, needed a revamp, so I just had to. So they will abruptly change appearance in an upcoming comic part, but I really can't do anything about that. So here we've moved on to the coloring, and I didn't change too much for her color since I still quite like hers, but I did select the skin tone from Leo, which was what her skin was originally supposed to be, but it got changed with the color balance feature, so I just turned it back. I also added another layer with a lower opacity for the coloring of the lace, and I actually really loved how it looked. I don't know why. It just made me happy though, so I kept it. Then I added some markings in yellow that I based off a picture of a common boxshell turtle I saw, and with that, Sammy was pretty much done. I did, however, go in and draw her weapon and shell, which I changed her weapon from swords to a bow and then added her shell, which I just added some extra lines to match her new markings. And also went in and did some super quick and simple shading with a blue on a layer to multiply, and then lowered the opacity. And with that, the art was done. I'm not going to go through everything I wrote on their bio because it's not too different from the first bio I wrote for them. So you can just read it yourself if you want. I don't know if people read much nowadays, but you can. So May was kind of the whole reason I did this redesign in the first place, mainly because her outfit was a little weird. I didn't think it through much when I designed it, and I don't like it much anymore, so I just wanted to change it. And instead of resketching her, I took an old sketch I did of her that I had in my sketchbook when I redesigned her, because I didn't feel like sketching that day, and this was a perfectly good one. I didn't change. The main things I changed for her outfit was I made her gloves longer and her shawl hood thingy longer. So just made things longer. I also gave her knee pads. And other than that, everything was pretty much the same. I didn't change much for the coloring, though I did experiment with her skin tone being greener and her shawl hood thing being black, but I didn't like either of those, so I ended up turning them back. And then I moved on to sketching out her weapon, which I did change because I have to admit the other one didn't make any sense. Like, where was it going? Because it like retracted into itself. So instead, I made this one a lot more inspired by Heather's axe from Dragon Riders, and so it just kind of folds in half, and I think this one looks a lot cooler. After I did this, I also moved on to sketching out her shell, which I didn't change at all, so that's not really anything that exciting. The shell definitely didn't take me that long. I've gotten pretty quick at drawing them because they're really just like, you draw a circle, you draw like a trapezoid thingy around it, and all this stuff, and you can with digital art, you can basically just duplicate the outer rim and make the inner rim. And her shell design is really simple, so it didn't take me that long at all. After I did the shell, I moved on to coloring, which, again, I kept all the colors the same except for when I was working with the axe. I changed the colors quite a bit there. I darkened up all of the colors, actually, all of them. I made them darker. I also added like a maroon gem to the axe, which I thought looked really good in my opinion. And after that, I wrote out her bio, which isn't anything different, so we can just skip to where I realized I forgot all of the shading and had to come back in and add that, and also add in the new markings that I was giving her, because I also forgot to add those in. So yeah, we had to do that real quick. I do like the new markings. They are inspired also by her turtle species, which is the pond slider. Very similar to the red-eared slider, but also quite different. So there's that, and now she's done. So the third victim of this little redesign is Heather, and honestly I didn't change that much for her. I just gave her a little bit more roughness, so it looks like she's actually lived her entire life in the battle nexus, and I gave her a shoulder pad. I also shrunk her knee pads though, because like, how was she bending her knees? Like, I don't know. But I also gave her like sock thingies that are like, you know, bigger. I thought they looked cool. So there's that. And then I moved on to coloring, which I also kept entirely the same, except for when I darkened or lightened up certain coloring bits, because they were like, there was no contrast. But other than that, everything is the same. Then I added in her markings, which I had to lighten up because they were too dark, and I went on to sketching in her knives, which I also did not change that much. She didn't need to be changed. She was perfect the way she was. Yeah, I've lost my train of thought. Where was I? Oh, I did add some blue to her knives, which I thought was cool. Oh, that's not the right page. Right, so her shells. She has two of them. One is her battle shell, or shell shield, as she calls it, which I have trouble saying for some reason. And the other one is her soft shell, because she's a soft shell turtle. And also, can I just say how glad I am that the show makes soft shell turtles look like this, and not like this, which is how they actually look. They kind of scare me, and I'm just glad they don't look like that. Anyway, I colored in her shell with the color she had from her previous character sheet, and I also added some scuff marks to her battle shell, since again, she's lived her entire life in the battle nexus, and she's gonna look like she's been fighting her entire life. Anyway, here's the finished product, and now we can move on to Jane. For Jane, I did actually sketch her out digitally. I kind of made myself do this because I didn't want to just use the sketches I had already made, because I felt like that was a little bit too much cheating. For some reason, when I realized I didn't like sketching digitally as much as I did traditionally, I kind of like just stopped being able to do it. Like, it's suddenly so difficult. But I pushed through and I did it, and I don't completely despise this sketch or drawing, so I guess we can call that a victory, though I don't fully love it either. It's okay though, she turned out fine. So for the outfit for her, the main thing that is different is the fact that she's not even wearing the original one. Okay, what I'm trying to say is that I gave her a completely different outfit. She always had two outfits, but you only got to see one of them, and her one with the scarf needs work, so while I didn't know what that looked like, I just decided to work with the other outfit she has, which, if you know your Rise, you will know where this came from, because I did not design this outfit. Most of you probably have already gotten it, and I have not said anything about her backstory, and it has not been mentioned in the comic, so nobody knows this yet until, well, now, because you just learned. For her colors, I kind of lightened up her skin tone, because the turtle, which is the diamondback terrapin, has basically white skin. Kept her vitiligo spots, and you also just saw the character. She was, yeah. I know it's not original to be Big Mama's assistant, but, like, she is. I also redesigned her shell to have, like, the little diamond things that jut out of it, because, you know, she's a diamondback terrapin. She's got to have those, otherwise she's not living up to her name. So this footage is going a lot quicker than I thought it was. Anyway, yeah, I've lost my place again. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, I added in her kanais, and I didn't change those much at all. Though I did add a little squiggly like design to the blade, which I thought I saw on someone else's art, and I thought was cool. And then I colored everything in. I didn't change the colors. I kept them pretty much the same. I did come back in later, though, after I finished the drawing, and fixed her colors, because I had selected them from the picture, but they didn't match with the rest of her color scheme. So I came back in and changed them to the colors I had originally made for this outfit. Because I did make a character sheet of it once. Anyway, I put in her bio, and with that, she was done. I do really like how all of these turned out, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's shorter than my usual ones, but I hope that didn't put a damper on it, and I hope to see you all in my next video. Bye!